Natalie's tonight on Charlie's stage. Maia Sharp will be there. It's good to have you back.
Thanks so much for having me.
She's got a great new album, another awesome release. She's been at it for quite some time now. We'll go back to where it all started for her, out in California, now Nashville based. So
That's
made
right.
the early, got her up early to be here. So we thank you for that.
Absolutely worth it.
We'll
Thank
have
you.
some tickets to give away for the show tonight. And details at nataliesgrandview.com and on our Facebook events. What's the first one you're going to start us off with?
I think I'm going to start off with Kind. Are you up for it?
I am. It's Maia Sharp, live from Studio A.
You can put your faith in a pipe dream, jalapeno peppers in your ice cream. You can wear the colors of another team. None of that matters to me. Go on and drive your Maserati in the slow lane. Catch a tidal wave in a hurricane. You got 27 letters in your last name. It doesn't make a difference to me. My kind of people are kind people. My kind of people are kind. If you got a good heart, that's a good start. If you want to be a friend of mine, rich or broke, drink or smoke, to me it's all Pepsi, Coke, whatever floats your boat is fine. My kind of people are kind people. My kind of people are kind. You can part your hair like a palm tree, have your meat and three or your chickpeas. Get yourself stung saving honeybees. Call who you call when you fall on your knees. My kind of people are kind people. My kind of people are kind. If you got a good heart, that's a good start. If you want to be a friend of mine, rich or broke, drink or smoke, to me it's all Pepsi, Coke, whatever floats your boat is fine. My kind of people are kind people. My kind of people are kind. Some follow the rules, some break them for fun. My kind of people, we only got one. My kind of people are kind. If you got a good heart, that's a good start. If you want to be a friend of mine, rich or broke, drink or smoke, to me it's all Pepsi, Coke, whatever floats your boat is fine. My kind of people are kind people. My kind of people are kind. My kind of people are kind people. My kind of people are kind.
It's hard to pick a favorite off the new album, but that's
Thank you.
definitely one of them. It's Maia
All right.
Sharp, Kind, live from Studio A. And tonight's the show over on Charlie's stage at Natalie's. Details at nataliesgrandview.com. We'll have a couple pairs of tickets to give away coming up after the next two songs that she'll perform for us. And let's go back to the beginning. You were born in California's Central Valley and moved
Yep.
to LA when you were just 5. And music runs in the family, you could say.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, my my folks met singing in a band together in high school, and my father is still a singer-songwriter, producer, just kind of all around, player
Yeah.
of all things.
And tell us about the connections with Linda Ronstadt and Emmylou Harris and a slew of others. What, was it producing? Was it performing with?
He wrote songs for them. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you've done that for quite a few artists as well. Bonnie Raitt, the list goes on of these amazing artists. And did you write for others before you were writing for yourself?
Well, actually, they both kind of started at the same time. The year that I signed my first record deal was the same year that I had my song recorded by somebody else, and it was Cher. So I got a taste of that great surreal feeling of hearing your words from a voice that you had already heard for years. So I got that really early, and I was hooked. So, from then on out, I think this was 1996, and then my first album came out in 97. So from then on out, I was kind of living a parallel life of always trying to still write for my own albums, but also make sure that I could write for or with other artists,
Right. So, I mean, Cher.
along the way.
Come on, that's a kind of a big deal, right? Cher.
It was so cool.
And how was it your people connecting with? I mean, how does that happen?
I didn't have any people yet. That my co-writer Mark Addison, he had just signed a publishing deal, and his publisher had an in to her producer. So that one happened like that. She played it for the producer played it for Cher. All of the other cuts though have happened in their own random way, you know. My publisher got the Chicks cut and the Trisha Yearwood cut. My co-writer got the Bonnie Raitt thing. Actually songs. There were 3 songs on the Bonnie album, Souls Alike, and she sang the living hell out of all 3 of them. But yeah, all of them. And about half of my cuts have been because I wrote with the artist, him or herself. Right. And so that, and as the years went on, it became more and more likely that I would get a cut if I could get in the room with the artist and or the producer, because a lot of the writing is done, you know, as close to the artist as they can do, you know.
So were there any you were like, I wish they would have recorded it differently? You can tell us.
No, I know, like it's a secret. Shh. Yeah, it's only between the 2 of us and everybody listening.
Right.
Actually, I've been very fortunate. I don't want to tell anybody else's story here. My dad has not been so fortunate. There's been some other cuts, none of the ones that you listed, but there's been some other ones that were like, he's like, oh, really, you guys? Oh, come on. I've been very lucky, though, all of my people. And I was already a fan, you know. Bonnie Raitt has been one of my favorite artists since my ears would even work. And then there she is, you know, singing the songs and just doing a beautiful job. Just
what an amazing
owning them as if, I mean, I know that they did it well when I listen to it and totally forget that I had any part of the song because they're just ownership.
What a feeling. That gives me goosebumps.
It's
Did it ever give you goosebumps to listen to it for the first time?
Every single time. Yeah. And I get to open for her sometimes, so I get to be on the wings hearing her do that. It's like, is this possibly really happening? Yeah.
So we discussed your dad, who was in this very room almost 2 decades ago with you.
Crazy.
You had a full band with you back. I forget exactly what album you were out on the road with, but that was fun. And you've been here one time before, so it's so good to have you back. It's Maia Sharp joining us live from Studio A, and we'll talk more about some songwriting and some other people that you got to be in some workshops with, and this brand new album. It's so amazing, and I'm sure that'll be at the show tonight if you still like CDs, or of course a lot of people are digging on that vinyl these days.
Which I did the fiscally irresponsible thing, and I pressed vinyl, and now I have them in the car, which is hopefully not too hot.
We'll get you out of here as soon as we can.
No, that's all right.
It's Maia Sharp live from Studio A, and Reckless Thoughts is the latest. Tonight's the show at Natalie's. We'll do our first giveaway after this next song that she does for us. What's it going to be?
Well, this might be a fairly smooth segue into this one. You know, we're talking about the last time I was here, and it could, or at least if you want to go all the way back to the first time I was here, we're probably talking 20 years, something like that. So this song is about the dreams that we have when we're younger, and about letting them morph and reflect our experience as we get older and as we, you know, accumulate wisdom, hopefully, and to kind of let the dreams, you know, expand along with that.
All right, it is Maia Sharp live from Studio A.
I'm tired of those old dreams. I'm not even dreaming anymore. That was the old me. She didn't know what she was living for. I built that city when the ground was still shifting. It's time to say goodbye to something I ain't missing. Old dreams. You paint yourself a picture before you could know what the story has. Before you could know what the colors are How big is the sky? What's the shape of the stars? I'm waking up to something. I'm finally settling into my skin, and I'm never going back again. I'm tired of those old dreams. I'm not even dreaming anymore. That was the old me. She didn't know what she was living for. I built that city when the ground was still shifting. It's time to say goodbye to something I ain't missing. Old dreams. Old dreams. When I close my eyes, I don't see what I used to see. I'm just not the same as I used to be. And when the ghosts tell stories, they get all nostalgic for the way it was. I'm sick of it getting to me like it does, and I'm tired of those old dreams. I'm not even dreaming anymore. That was the old me. She didn't know what she was living for. I built that city when the ground was still shifting. It's time to say goodbye to something I ain't missing. Old dreams. Old dreams. Old dreams.
It's Maia Sharp, live from Studio A, and our first giveaway right now at 614-821-9223. Caller number 3 at 614-821-WCBE. Maia Sharp, her latest release, Reckless Thoughts. That one going back quite a ways. But this new one, tell us a little bit about it. Is it about, a lot of it about your new life in Nashville and how you got there?
Yeah, it's kind of the viewpoint from the other side of that. My last album, and actually the song that I just played is on the new album about the old stuff.
Okay. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, this is definitely this is more of the viewpoint from having weathered the storm. You know, my last album was asking a lot of questions and trying to figure out what the hell I was going to do now. I moved from Los Angeles to Nashville at the beginning of 19. And up until probably a year before I moved, the thought of ever moving outside of California was just impossible. Like I didn't even think about that. Of course not. You know, I travel a lot, so I get to see a lot of other places. And then LA is going to be home. LA is going to be home, right? And I was married. I was in a very long-term relationship. We had been together for 21 years. And again, I never thought I would leave. And I did all of that. I left it all. And then I think I had never gone through that many changes at one time and that severely. And it took me a while to get my mind around it. In the meantime, it was definitely song fodder, and that was the last album. This is like, okay, I figured out a few things. I'm answering a few of the questions that the last album was asking, and I just feel there's more of a clarity. There's more of a calm now, you know. And
especially after, of course, everybody knows about the pandemic and having that happen shortly after you moved to Nashville. Right. It is Maia Sharp, live from Studio A. Tonight's the show at Natalie's. and we'll have another pair of tickets to give away. Before songwriting and playing guitar, there was the saxophone. But
That's right.
That didn't take for you, right? Or do you still play?
I mean, I still play it here and there.
Okay.
I actually did a show on Sunday, and I pulled it out
Wow.
and played it. I'll play it for like maybe one song in the album, and I do play it for the first time in about 3 albums. I take a saxophone solo.
Okay, I thought you hung it up.
On the album. Well, I mean, I mostly did. I'm not like going to hire out and play in your horn section anymore, although maybe. I mean, it is kind of fun. But yeah, it used to be like that's what I thought I was going to be doing full time, and I was playing all around L.A. and I traveled for it. I played in like some R&B bands and swing bands and all kinds of crazy stuff, and have a lot of really good stories from that. Oh my God, I played on a cruise ship once. I was in the Atlantis Orchestra that went from Long Beach to 3 Mexican ports, and it was horrendous. Now I have a lot of really funny stories because there was like storms the whole time. I was seasick the whole time.
Oh, no.
And I was playing like, ba-doop, boop, ba-doop, bow, like all night long. I'm just happy that is a past life.
No, was that long, just one cruise, or was it a whole series?
One cruise and out, like, one and done, baby. Yeah.
No, do you like going on cruises? Just
no, never.
No?
It's never gonna. No.
Oh, the seasick. I guess you wouldn't.
Yeah. I mean, I did. I have done one other cruise, the Cayamo one. Yeah. Which was a lot of fun, but it was a lot of Dramamine also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Better off the
every
boat.
day. Yeah.
And then, well, tell us about the workshop in this French castle and who you got to work with there. I mean, paint the picture of where you were and who was there with you.
Oh my gosh. So the guy, my label head publisher, Miles Copeland, owned a castle. And he also is the manager, like he manages the Police, the Go-Go's, Sting. So he knew a lot of folks, and he had a castle in the southwest part of France. And he had this wild idea. He had some crazy ideas, and many of them were just crazy, period. That's the end of that. But some of them were crazy, really cool. And this one was one of those. And the idea was to assemble 21 songwriters at this place outside of everybody's comfort zone, really in the middle of nowhere. Everybody is a little jet lagged or a lot, just out of their element. And we're going to put them all together. They're probably just meeting there. And they're going to write in groups of 3 every day for a week. So you write a new song every day for 7 days, and you record it that night. There's an engineer on site as well.
Fun.
And some of the people that went, so because I wrote for him, he wanted me in the room with all of the people because he had a share of every song that I wrote, right? So it helped me, but it also helped him to put me in the room with all of the kind of higher profile people. And I'm 26 at the time. I know. I was like, what? I didn't know anything.
I get to do this?
And like Carole King was in my first one. She was maybe my second write. Carole King, the Go-Go's, Rick Astley, Stuart Copeland, Lisa Loeb, and we're still friends. She's hilarious. She is wonderful. Nice. The Bangles.
Wow.
Yeah, it just goes on and on.
Were you? You're 26 and you get to be with these, huge artists.
Nervous doesn't cover it. Yeah. No, I need another word.
How do you grasp to be able to do it? I would be so nervous.
Just barely is my answer. Yeah.
But you did it, yeah.
Yeah. No, I was totally terrified. But there's, music does something to you, right? It changes the chemistry in your brain. So I'm nervous as beyond, how is this going to work? First of all, I'm never the fastest writer in the room, or up to that point. I was the one that wanted to take a day or 2 or a week and maybe circle back and No, you don't have that time. You have about 3 hours with 2 people that you just met, and one of them has sold a billion records. So I was like, okay, and I'm not that one, So, but once the music starts and you're just into the work, and it's not the anticipation part of the day anymore, and it's just, and you hear that once that something changes, And we found a groove right away. And I'm happy to report that Carole King, who has sold about 1 billion records, is just the coolest, most down-to-earth,
Nice.
in it for the work, good human. So there was no, like, she never played the Carole card. You know, we were just like 3 songwriters working.
So
and
are
everybody
there
was cool.
recordings of that?
There are recordings
Do you, I mean,
of every song, yeah. Every
That's
song
so
ever
cool.
written at the castle that got recorded that night, which is probably like 99% of them. Miraculously, that system, which you'd think would fall apart every now and then, kind of never fell apart. Like everybody showed up, or the music part of it just put us all in a state where we could do this challenging thing.
So amazing.
Yeah, it was
Wow.
really cool.
What a life you've led, huh?
Well, and that, living through that, I mean, living through it, it sounds like it was a trauma
Oh
or
my
something. No,
God.
it was an amazing opportunity, but it was a terrifying one. And every time it was terrifying. Like I went 8 times, and I remember like my 8th time, it was like, oh, this is probably the time I fail, you know, like, because it's just such a challenging thing. But having figured out how that would work, and knowing now that I got through something that made me so completely terrified, but I still did all right.
Yeah.
Just that survival now, I access that all the time. Like when I'm really scared about doing something that I have never done before, I'm like, remember that other thing that you did that you had never done before?
That's empowering.
And it worked out. And
Yeah.
it's just kind of like one more tool in the belt. Like, well, I got through that. I might actually get through this too. And each one gets a little easier, right?
All right. That is Maia Sharp joining us live from Studio A. Love your stories. Thank you for
Thank
sharing
you.
them with us. Love your music and everything you do. And this latest album. Congratulations.
Thanks so much.
You are welcome. It's Reckless Thoughts, the latest by Maia Sharp. We're so happy to have her back in Studio A today. And we'll have one last pair of tickets to give away after the song that she takes us out with. Oh, and your work with Art Garfunkel. Tell
Yeah.
us about that.
Oh, yeah, that was wonderful. We got to write together and record together, and we toured through the U.S. and through the U.K. as well. And singing with Art, I mean, he is one of the best ever. I think my favorite singing with Art story, it's a little on the quirky side, but you can probably tell he uses a lot of air as he's singing, right? There's like his voice to air ratio is probably more air than the average bear, right? So he's doing his part, and we made a point to not do a lot of just kind of obvious 3-part harmony. So there's like unison and maybe like a cascade, or unison and a low one, or whatever, or like answers or something. So it's not like the same kind of harmony for the whole album, right? So for this particular segment, I was supposed to be unison with Art, and he wanted to do it live. Not him singing and then me come out later, but us doing it together, side by side. We each have our own mic, but he's right here and I'm right here. And I don't know, I was maybe 31 at the time, or 32. And he's doing his thing, and the only way I can match his tone is to use like 20 times more air than I'm used to using. So it was like, hey, it was like that. And I swear to God, I had to bring a stool over and lean on it because I was getting faint while he was just bringing it, like just like on point. And the 31-year-old that, you know, was standing a foot away from him was ready to pass out, just trying to keep up with him and his lung capacity.
Right. But he was used to that. That's the way he always does it.
That's just what he did. And he was just on it. And I was ready to fall over.
It is Maia Sharp live from Studio A today. Great to see you again.
Thank you. You too.
We'll do our final giveaway after this last song. What's it going to be?
This is the single, She'll Let Herself Out.
All right. Thanks, Maia.
Thank you. Oh, I don't want to pick for this. I knew that 5 a.m. wake up was going to show up. What am I going to forget? If it's a pain, if it's a problem, it won't be hers anymore. She isn't waiting to be excused or for you to walk her to the door. Ooh, misguided mission. It's a matter of time till it don't matter at all if anybody gave permission. She'll let herself out. She'll let herself out. The gate to the cages that she's been living in. But now that she realized they lock from the inside, she'll never be something she's not again. Oh, she'll let herself out. She'll let herself out. Oh, she'll let herself out. She'll let herself out. Digging in the dirt, she tapped into an underground river. She let it rise and baptize. Now she don't need anyone to forgive her. She was making up reasons to fall in line till she made up her own unsatisfied mind. She'll let herself out. She'll let herself out. The gate to the cages that she's been living in. Now that she realized they lock from the inside, she'll never be something she's not again. Oh, she'll let herself out. She'll let herself out. Oh, she'll let herself out. She'll let herself out. Gracious as hell, she'll wish you well, and then she'll let herself out. The gate to the cages that she's been living in. Oh, now that she realized they lock from the inside, she'll never be something she's not again. Oh, she'll let herself out. She'll let herself out. Oh, she'll let herself